that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's. All right, I think that was the whole intro. I don't know. We'll have to see, man. I never know with Rumble Studio, man. It's always a guessing game. But hopefully, the whole intro played for you guys. It didn't play none for us over here. But either way, welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday. As we do every Friday here, we come together, talk about the latest in news, politics, and the fall of Western civilization as we know it. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Liberty Swine. How you doing this week, sir?
Damn fine, man. Enjoying the show, brother. How about yourself?
Oh man, it's been quite a week for politics, man. Quite a
It's
week.
been hilarious.
Right, my fucking popcorn game's been strong, bro. But of course, we have the big feud going on right now, the MAGA Civil War, if you want to call it that. I guess it's Trump versus Elon Musk, and they're basically having themselves a bit of a falling out, if you will. We also have Kilmar Obrego Garcia has been returned triumphantly, you guys, triumphantly winning Democrats for the United States of America. So that way he could face charges of human trafficking and things of that nature. But nonetheless, winning, we're taking our wins where we can. All kinds of stuff. Ukraine, Russia escalations, Egyptian illegal immigrants, fire bombing Jewish people in Colorado. Of course, more epic battles with the court system, bioterrorism, dogs and cats getting along, all kinds of the fucking shit's hitting the fan, you guys. It's for
madness and mayhem, man.
Right, man. Madness in the streets. Madness in the streets, you guys. But yeah, definitely some crazy stuff, man. And you want to start off with the feud between old Donald J. Trump and Elon Musk?
Of course. That's good shit.
Right. So, of course, early in the week. Well, actually, I don't remember. Was it early? No, it was toward the end of the week, right? But either way, there's been a bit of a feud with Elon Musk. He's suddenly such a principled libertarian, and no, we need to blow up this big, beautiful bill because it's mostly pork filled, which is true. That's not, not saying that's not factual, but nonetheless, I don't believe that I don't believe that he's out there getting on the same podium as Rand Paul and Thomas Massey, in that same sense, right? I think his whole thing with it is he's upset because we're getting rid of the EV mandates, right? Of course, obviously, Elon Musk, he's the owner of Tesla. He's going to he stands to lose quite a bit of money from that, as well as what is it? So some other stuff, like he's cutting some funding going to like SpaceX or something. I don't know. There's a couple different things in there that Elon Musk's really not happy with. That to most people is pretty obvious is his underlying reason for actually being upset with it, as opposed to as he would like to portray it as his fiscal responsibility, guys.
Yep, like I'm not going to talk shit on Elon, right? I mean, obviously, we've done a lot of building the dude up on this channel. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to flip flop because they're getting at each other, but it is fucking hilarious. And we also have to remember that Elon is a liberal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he always was and always will be. I mean, he's for the Green New Deal. He's for carbon taxes, and and he'll say do away with subsidies. But yet, what is he saying besides, with the return tweets like, oh, go ahead, just cut them, make my day. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's no cuts for oil. Very unfair. Like, oil makes the motherfucking world go round, not EVs, son. You know what I mean? And obviously, dude is a super genius, right? I mean, there's no denying what, he's accomplished. And I mean, obviously the richest man on the fucking planet. He's doing more than I'll ever even consider doing, right? But, at the same time, that doesn't make him infallible. He's a human dude, and he's got his fifi hurt again. The richest guy in the world. He's used to being waited on hand and foot and getting his way the vast majority of the time, I'm sure, right? And the subsidy shit. I mean, I'm all for it. I don't think that we should be subsidizing people's $100,000 vehicle purchases myself.
Right.
And but the whole thing with the bill, I mean, it also does away with the Green New Deal. It builds a fully funds a border wall, and the meat that's in there, the majority of a lot of the debt, a huge percentage, which obviously you can't be for, you can't say you're right, conservative, anything like that, and be for adding massive amounts to the debt. But it's for increases with to upgrade the military, not expand it, upgrade it, weaponry. A lot of our shit is outdated, old.
Mm.
Our soldiers need to be better taken care of. Their pay is
Depleted at
shit.
this point.
Yeah, and it's also increasing the size of border patrol by thousands of fucking troops. It also funds things in the government process that he doesn't want to have to squabble on down the road, and that's a big part of the whole situation of the big beautiful bill concept is let's pass all this funding now so then we could deal with everything later when we don't have to squabble over minuscule shit that is a normal thing, but they're going to make a huge fuss about just to clog up the fucking the machine.
Right. Right. I mean, it's essentially in essence, it's business as usual with Congress. It's basically the same thing that they always kind of do. They just kick the can down the road a little bit more. I guess the only real difference with this one so much is at least it's getting some conservative things done that's going to have effects on the American way of life, culture, obviously safety from outside threats and things like that as we further start to uh, disengage ourselves from being the world police. It focuses more on I guess like I say, the American people rather than just sending money abroad and stuff like that. But like I said, it really kind of is essentially business as usual, and it's like I mean that in the sense is like this is the same way that these bills have been getting passed for pretty much generations now within Congress. Uh, the whole thing is, as we always like to complain about, is conservatives are going to get into power and then they're going to do nothing with the power, and then the Democrats are going to get into power and then they're going to do every fucking thing under the sun with that power, and then conservatives are going to get in there and we're not going to do nothing with it.
Slow down.
Like I say, if it's business as usual, it's the same thing that we've been doing, kicking the can down the road for generations now. Why not, like, at least if we are going to continue kicking the can down the road either way, because what is it if this doesn't get past it's going to be like a gigantic tax increase.
21%. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, essentially this is going to get passed one way or the other, whether it has to be revised, things like that. But like I say, it's essentially the same thing that we've been doing. It's just, well, finally let's kick the can ourselves.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's kicking the can, which you don't want to see. That's not necessarily what you voted for, and I'm
Mhm.
surely not. How they love to MAGA's cultists. They're going to make excuses. I mean, debt is debt. We're 37 fucking trillion at this point. Like you said, why not try spending it on ourselves? You always hear leftists like, "I'm more than happy to pay more taxes to help people." You hear people on the right, "If I have to pay taxes, I would rather it go to help Americans." Well, the vast majority of this is to help Americans and America as a whole, rather than, like you said, approving spending bills to fucking expand bases in Kosovo or some shit, right?
Right.
And the same people that they're holding up right now, like your Massey and Rand Paul, which guys that you love and respect, right? I mean, as much as you can for a Congress, and a senator, right? But it's the same people that are holding them up, like, look, even other Republicans are saying this bill's bad. They say that about every fucking bill that's passed, which again isn't necessarily bad. That's in the style of old Dr. Ron, right? But they're just saying the same shit they always say, and it's not now. When Democrats are in power, they laugh at them, blacklist them, deride them, but they're not in power. So it's, look at these giant pillars of the Republican side that they're even telling you. I mean, it's
Right.
fucking laughable approach all the time.
And it's hilarious too, just because like I say, when it comes to Congress, this last 2 years ago, when Joe Biden was after he had lost the Congress. I mean, we had Congress. Mike Johnson was up there waving the fucking gavel and shit. We had all of this time to let's start going towards single subject spending bills, but he's waving the gavel on Democrat spending bills. Like I say, it's still been the same fucking thing. It's just we'll let the Democrats do it, and even when the Republicans have the power to say, like, you know what, let's not bring this to the floor, let's focus on this and this, they're not going to do it. They're still going to fucking let the Democrats push all their gigantic fucking spending bills through anyway.
Yeah, like you said, it's currently happening. Like Mike, since Trump's been in office, Mike Johnson's brought like 6 Republican bills to the floor for a vote, and he's brought like 19 Democrat bills to the floor for a vote. I mean,
Right.
it's fuck. And then on top of that, they keep canceling voting days. As is, they work 85 days a year, and I understand they're not supposed to spend the entire year, in Washington. They're supposed to be in their own districts, but we know that's not what they're doing when they're not working there in fucking Mexico or Florida or whatever the case.
Right.
And they just keep canceling voting days instead of actually trying to codify EOs and Doge cuts and whatnot. And they just keep well, next week we're going to vote on the Doge cuts. Like I think I've heard that like 3 weeks in a row now, man. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Like I say, it's just more of nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like of course, like I say, I want to be principled, all this and that type stuff, but at the same time, it's like this is an opportunity that we're not going to have, as conservatives in America for probably at least another generation or two if we let this slip through our fingers right now. If we just continue to go business as usual, if we continue to play legalism with the Democrats and stuff like that, and like, oh dang, they got us, while we have literally both chambers and the executive. It's ridiculous. Like I say,
they
if
should be
not
passing
now,
border bills and fucking border funding bills because Democrats. What are they going to do if they take power? Immediately, they're going to reopen the fucking border and stack this bitch up for the 2030 census.
right?
Because as is right now, the Republicans should hold a 12-seat advantage. You know what I
Yep,
mean? And they don't because of the 2020 census.
yep. So I mean, that's what I say. It's just you gotta get our heads in the game, guys. um, but either way, like I said, that's my opinion on the whole big beautiful bill. But back to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, I do believe that this does kind of point out a flaw that we've all kind of seen, is that he's a bit loose cannon, to I guess to put it in a kind of endearing way, emotionally unstable, if you want to be an asshole about it. But at the same time, I feel like it shows his opportunist side. It shows that he's not like, obviously, he didn't buy Twitter because he's just like, oh, free speech is being attacked. Like it's because obviously he's a fucking businessman. He sees that it's a gigantic fucking money making machine, and all these commies are doing is just fucking running it into the ground. And of course, it is a very important tool. Of course, we do see the things that he's done with it. He got his own language learning model with Grok
Not to mention the
off of
goal
it.
for X. I mean, he
Right,
wants it to be like a payway type of thing. So
right. So I mean, like I say, he didn't just do it because free speech and I'm such a principled libertarian. And, it's not because of that. Like I say, he saw opportunity with it, and
the principal libertarian, that's for carbon taxes.
right, right,
Fuck off,
yeah.
man.
And that's why he's over here trying to do this whole, spiel and stuff like that. And like I say, it's the fight's really kind of over before it even started. Because I mean, he's already starting to try and like backtrack and like, whoa, wait a minute, like no, bro, you dipped your toe in the fucking water. Like this is happening now. Like and like I say, he's done plenty of good stuff. He's definitely not the person that gave Donald Trump the victory. If it wasn't for my $300 million donation, Donald Trump
Yeah,
would
he
have never
jumped on the
won.
last second.
Right. I'm surprised I haven't seen any fucking thing from Scott Presser like, excuse me, actually.
Right, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Fuck,
fucking
Charlie Kirk did more fucking to get him elected than Elon did.
right.
Elon showed up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like you said, he threw in hundreds of millions of
Mhm.
dollars, but other than that, he just
In the
jumped around on
11th hour,
stages.
though.
Yeah, he just jumped around on stages around the country, acting like he's truly on the spectrum.
Right.
And
Supported
and again, I'm
DeSantis
not
in the
trying to talk
primaries.
shit on the dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could talk shit on anyone, but at the same time, like it's Elon, right?
Right.
But dude, to try to put that on his own self, like I got him elected. Trump won the election when he took a fucking bullet to the ear and stood in the one of the most iconic presidential shots ever fucking taken. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Yep. So I mean, yeah, like I say, he kind of jumped on the bandwagon at the very last minute, like I said, which again does kind of show his opportunist side because clearly Elon Musk purely thought that this whole thing was going to be reciprocal in one way or another. It's like I've bought in plenty of politicians before. Like, why should this be any different? And Donald Trump's showing it's like no, it's not about getting fucking donations. It's not about getting the biggest campaigns, funding and shit like that. Like Donald Trump's actually in it to win it. Donald
Do you
Trump's
think the
actually
beef's
in it to
real
make
though?
America again. I don't
Do
know.
you think the
That's
beef's
the
real?
other thing. It could be staged. It could all be staged, but at the
I
same
thought
time,
so until the
that
Epstein thing.
yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
that's like I say, that's obviously a step way too far. I mean, but then again, you really do never know because I mean, of course, the name of the game is no news is bad news, or no press is bad press. I mean, even if it's something this big, obviously it's a major, not necessarily bombshell. In the sense of like how a bombshell is, but in the sense of a bombshell as in the media is going wild right now. The media is
Yeah, of course.
really,
Of
and of
course. I
course
mean, they're all anti-Trump. They're going to use that to their advantage, you know?
right. The funny thing is that it's funny watching them because at the same time they're anti-Elon too. So they're really just kind of they don't know what the fuck to do. But either way, they are sitting back cheering it on. And like I say, it's if it is staged, it's not a good look. like
Yeah.
fuck, dude. Like if that's staged, then I'll fucking
That
believe it.
Trump's calling him like, "What the fuck was that, dude? Like, you weren't
Right.
supposed to do that, son."
Right, right. If that's staged, I'll believe that fucking Joe Biden was actually a robot the entire time or an actor.
Right.
Like fuck, dude. Like that's some bad staging. Either that or it's
Yeah.
fucking
But
way
on the
40
Epstein tip
chest
though, you
on our
seen his attorney came out like on the X after that, right? And was basically like, that he dealt, and defended Epstein for an extended period. He came to him for his legal advice, man, and he said that that Epstein said, "I don't have anything on Trump," and he said, "How do I know?" I asked him. Like, it was a basic, dude, do you have anything on the president that we could use to get him to help get you the fuck out of here? And he was like, "Oh, doc," you know what I mean? And then you go back to the testimonies of women, including Guffrey, right, that just passed away, and they testified in court. The ones that at least they had testimony from, and they were asked directly as well. It's all in the current Epstein stuff that's out. Like I have screenshots, and they said no, we've never had any interactions like sexually or intimately with Mr. Trump. Like he was. They saw him a couple times, but that was it. And I'm surely again, this isn't like a here's the MAGA cultist. If actual evidence came out and said, look, Trump's a fucking pedo, dude. I'm just for
right,
dude, like you know what I mean? He needs to see the Alaskan Avenger, son. You know
right.
what I'm saying? I mean, that goes for anyone. I give two fucks who you are. You know what I mean?
Yep. It really is kind of funny to see a bunch of fucking Hillary and Barack Obama supporters and all these fucking leftist Hollywood types out here release the Epstein files
Right, right,
because
right.
their leaders are like, no, let's not be too hasty, guys. Okay.
Yeah, and we know about the flight log, right? We know that
Right.
Trump was on a flight log. He didn't fly to Florida. He didn't fly to Little St. James. He flew to New York. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
was because his plane was fucked up and needed some work, and he had to fucking be somewhere. And then we don't know, right? But the story is that they was put on the plane. Like, we have a plane we can loan you. Here you go. And then it was like, oh, by the way, this is an Epstein plane. You know what I mean?
Right. The fuck, man. You put that
Right.
shit on me, bro.
The fuck, you got my name on a manifest, motherfucker? But like you said, I mean, we don't know. I mean, nobody knows except for the fucking whatever you want to call them, the lizards, the elites, the leadership reps, whatever. There's only a certain number of people that actually know, and we're probably not going to fucking find out anyway.
Right.
And like I said, if it was an actual evidential thing, I mean, how could you not disregard the dude? Like, come on.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yeah, we're never gonna see those fucking files though, man. I've come to terms with that. I came to terms with that a couple episodes ago.
That's how you measure time and shit.
Right.
3 episodes ago, we were.
Yep. Yep. Shit, I remember it wasn't last episode, so it must have been the one before that, you know. But
Yeah, I mean, I've
yeah.
come to terms with that too. I mean, I've actually come to terms with that a long time ago. Even when Bondi was, running her mouth on Fox and shit, it's not going to happen. You know
Right.
what I mean? And then they did the whole fucking let's make a presentation of some folders filled with a bunch of redacted shit, most of which is already released. So, you know.
Right. Yep. So yeah, we ain't never gonna see that shit. But nonetheless, it was still a step too far in terms of Elon Musk, you know.
Right.
Um
But Trump's a machine. I think we should put him in some fucking hand-to-hand combat, dude.
right.
Elon likes to challenge people to fucking bouts, dude. Trump
Right.
might get at him at 78.
I'll be honest, they do look like they have about the same body type, you know.
I think Elon's is worse, bro. He's he's
Right.
he's he's like the stand-up version of the Cybertruck, bro.
Right. At least fucking Trump's got that length on him, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Shit. Man, definitely, you know, so not good stuff going on. You know, not good stuff. You hate to see it. You hate to see it, you know, but you know, sometimes it has to happen. You know, he had to go. He had to go. You know.
I
He
asked him to
promised
leave,
us
dude.
he promised
Hilarious.
us $1 trillion. He only brought 100 billion. So
Right.
he had to go.
The one truth that's going around that's pretty hilarious is the screenshot where he says everybody knows it was a Nazi salute.
Yeah, figured two master trolls, man, going at it, you know.
Right.
And the winner is all of us. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Right, but
Definitely
you got to
some,
wonder, dude, what is it distracting you from, man? You know what I
right.
mean? Because like even if it's not necessarily a stage thing, it's being made public, like on blast for a reason. I mean, the obvious with the left, but I mean, it's a massive fucking distraction from things that aren't or are happening.
Right. Right. I wonder why they always like do the distractions stuff like that when it's like something that's not being reported on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you like, what the fuck you distracting us for, man? Wait till that shit comes out, then you do the distraction. You know, what the
Right.
fuck you guys doing? You know? But yeah, you know, shit makes you wonder. You know, because like I said, none of this stuff is organic. Everything's fucking stage. Everything's a fucking. It's all a show. You know, it's all a show. At least you know that's what we tell ourselves to stay sane. Um,
Right.
but,
It can't be this fucking stupid,
right.
man.
It's our government. Like the world cannot be run by this fucking stupid of people. You know, like does not make sense. You know,
Doing battle.
all right. But speaking of stupid people, Kilmar Garcia has been triumphantly returned to the United States of America. At least that's what the Democrats are going to tell you, right? They're going to, we
Right.
did it,
We
you
won.
guys, right? We won. Kilmar Garcia has been returned home. He's going to be in the warm embrace of his family any minute now, through plexiglass or possibly over a phone, but still, nonetheless, his family's going to be there with him. You know, but yeah. So yeah, he's being returned to the United States, so that way he can face trial for human smuggling.
And conspiracy.
Right, conspiracy of human smuggling as well. Yeah, what was it, like 100 and some odd like trips or something like that, or was it 100 and some odd people?
I think it was people. I
Yeah.
believe it was people.
Yeah, I think it was like 150 some odd people, something like that. He's being charged with transporting, or at least within conspiracy of. I guess one of the people was actually one of the people that's was responsible for all those the illegal immigrants dying in the back of that semi truck. Yes,
Oh
the
no.
person that orchestrated that as well too.
Mm.
At least that's according to the
Allegedly, man.
allegedly. You know? But yeah, so it's got like 6 co-conspirators, something like that.
Yeah, and since he's been gone, obviously the one chest cam from the police has been released since
Right.
his original deportation, and we've seen at minimum he had a Suburban full of cats. I mean, right there should be enough for the prison stay. But like when we were talking off camera earlier, like I was saying, my fear of that is a Democrat win, and they're just going to make a show of pardoning him, and we're doing the right things. And how disgusting! Like what kind of people like just they're like, sure, it's gang members and fucking foreign invaders, but we should definitely fight and burn down the country to fuck protect them and bring him back, man. You
Right.
know what I mean? Dude, what the fuck?
Don't
Even
worry.
that
Oh yeah, go ahead.
is that Senator Chris Holleran, the
Yeah.
one was it from Pennsylvania, right? Or is it Maryland? I don't remember. It's Maryland, and he the one that made the big show of going down there and shit several times.
Having a
One of which he was
margarita.
turned away, right? And he's on the inner zones. Like it looks like the Trump administration has finally turned and is in support of the Constitution's. Is like, dude, what the fuck out of here, man? And and then like that article I sent you earlier, where Boasberg's ruling like people that have been deported can, they have a chance to try to have that overturned, and like, dude, these fools actually believe you need to have a hearing for every individual motherfucker you're deporting. Like at this point, it's literally anything Trump does. Dude, if that fool went to take a shit, there's a judge there. Like, you know what I mean? Got
Right.
to put an injunction on you using toilet paper. Sis.
Right.
I mean,
Using Trump brand toilet paper in the White House, that's impeachable offense.
right. I believe it's getting up there now to the point to where the injunctions against just the Trump administration is outnumbering like all previous injunctions
Oh yeah.
combined.
I think it's like 80% of all previous universal injunctions because they're not fucking
Absolutely insane, man.
constitutional.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
and the Supreme Court again, spineless
right,
motherfuckers, man. You have two good fucking seats on the judiciary, straight up, man. And
right.
even Gorsuch, absolute disappointment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but his hearing to be confirmed, it was all Constitution this, Constitution that. If it's in the Constitution, if the Constitution reads that way, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're watching your country be destroyed, bro. For what? Because you're scared?
Yep.
You're scared?
It's because they think that they're going to be on the fucking only life raft out of there, man. They think they're going to float away on the door while the rest of us fucking sink down to the bottom of the icy depths, you know?
I think they're scared of old fucking trans Tifa rolling over to their cribs like they did for, old Brett Kavanaugh.
Right? Yep. Yep.
And Coney Barrett's a straight liberal. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to be up there toward the 80% mark at this point, voting with the other side.
Right. Oh, wasn't the only thing she was really conservative on was abortion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that just because I think that was like a promise, dude, that was like part
Right.
of the gig. You know what I mean?
Right. That was her, her, what was it? Fucking that was her Letitia James moment. Like, I promise we'll get Donald Trump. I will, yeah, that was her moment. I will overturn Roe
Yeah.
v. Wade. And then I'll sit back and I will fucking rank and file the rest of my life. You know?
Yep. And then you got old Jake LaMotta. I mean, Sotomayor. She's fucking just an absolute moron, man. Kentanji
Right.
Brown, same thing. The epitome of fucking goddamn DEI hire. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you got titties and a vagina? No, I can't define a woman.
Wait.
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Are you gay? Are you gay?
Right.
You're
Yeah.
definitely in. Come on, come aboard. Right.
Yeah, they were looking. They did this little intro like journalist fucking deal where they went into depth about how many words have been spoken by each judge, like statistically during proceedings across decades. And Ketanji Brown Jackson says more words during any given hearing than any other two Supreme Court judges combined. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's to the point where even Jake LaMotta's had to tell her, like, all right, I need to hear what they're saying. Like, stop talking. You know what I
Right.
mean? Right from the bench. Like, and everything she says is some of the most moronic drivel you've ever had the
Circular
displeasure of
nonsense.
having crammed down your head. Yeah.
You're right. Yep. That's our Supreme Court, man. Fucking third
Yeah.
branch of the fucking United States government.
She says, my fear with this interpretation of the First Amendment is that, you're putting cuffs on the government's ability to shut down hateful speech and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Get her the fuck off there, dude.
Right.
Prison.
It's
Prison.
kind of the point, baby.
Right.
Right.
What the fuck?
All right. Just real quick, I just wanted to point out this hilarious post from Ed Krasenstein.
Oh, Christ.
It says, breaking, Kilmar Garcia is coming back to the United States from El Salvador in order to face due process. Huge loss for Trump, huge win for the Constitution. So he's definitely facing due process. It's just not the due process
Right.
that you're trying to make your people think. He's facing due process for an entirely different charge, and he's going to be doing some prison time here in the United States instead.
Not to
Huge
mention
win.
Yeah, not to mention he's on a deportation order, man. Unequivocal. Like it win or lose in this court case, he's still being deported. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What is it? His lawyer was trying to say like, oh, like I don't know why they're bringing him home and putting him before a criminal court. They need to finish his due process rights and bring him home and put him before an immigration court. Like 2 immigration courts have already found that he's deportable. Like they've already given the order to go ahead and deport this motherfucker twice. You know.
Not to mention the rest of the process is a literal agent saying,
Right.
"Okay, are you
Hi.
from here? No. Are you supposed to be here? No. Okay. Are you deportable? Yes. Is it safer in your home country than it was when you left? Yes. Okay, you're out of here. Smell you later."
I
That's the
have a
literal
good time.
process. Yep.
Right. Yep. That's the due process that he's missing. But nonetheless, he is coming back to the United States from El Salvador in order to face due process. So, I mean, he's not wrong there. You know, it's just he's not coming back for an interview. Let's just put it that way.
The fucking helium twin, dude. Have you heard those guys talk, man? They are absolute fucking coke smokers. Like, dude, the
Right.
most effeminate fucking little weak-wristed fools on the inner zones, man. They're
Right.
actually more so than Harry Sisson.
It's the what Senator Chris Van Hollen has to say
That's what
about
I
the
was saying. That's
situation.
exactly what I was talking, dude.
All right. After months of ignoring our Constitution, it seems the Trump admin has relented to our demands for compliance with court orders and due process for Kilmar Garcia. This has never been about the man. It's about his constitutional rights and the rights of all. The rights of all? Do you mean all citizens, or nope? I'm pretty sure he just means of all, right? Because of course, these Democrats will tell you that we're people of the world. Right. It's everybody
It's the world
has due
constitution, man.
process rights. Right. Everybody has this. Everybody in the entire world is afforded the same rights as any other American citizen because we're global citizens now.
Right, you had
Right.
the stooge-ass libertarians saying fucking very similar shit. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that, my exact reply to there too, man. You know what I'm saying? The Constitution applies to every motherfucker on the planet. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the Constitution of India.
Right. Shit. Let's see. Maze Morris seems like they've put together something pretty juicy.
One of the
'cause
best
they tend to do
channels
that.
on the
See,
inner
Jamie
zones.
Ratskin. Right. Jamie Ratskin is now claiming that Democrats never defended Kilmar Garcia. Here's one of the many Ratskins himself defended. Many times Ratskin himself defended Garcia.
On the idea that Democrats defended Kilmar Garcia, even though he, of course, is alleged to have committed these crimes. Do you think that Democrats risk politically playing into the president's hands by focusing on this case?
First of all, I don't know of a single Democrat who defended him.
He was falsely arrested and removed from the country. So now they're making up all this stuff about MS-13. Or, let's say he was responsible for the January 6th attack and he coordinated the assault on 140 police officers. They're making up things against a guy who's never been prosecuted, much less convicted of anything criminal.
She especially focused on the idea that Democrats defended.
Right.
Dude, I want to punch that dude so bad, bro. That's the most punchable face you've ever seen, dog. And the whole January 6th shit, dude, is just completely ridiculous, bro. It's like it's been 5 fucking years for a 2-hour riot. Meanwhile, fucking leftists have burned this joint down for a decade. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, these people are fucking despicable.
Yeah, Pinochet helicopter
Let's see,
rides all around.
Let's see, Really American. Let's see what they're all about. Grassroots political organization producing the most impactful political content every day. Let's see. Breaking in an embarrassment to the Trump admin, Kilmar Garcia has returned to the United States despite their insistence he never would. AG Pam Bondi makes wild accusations of him being a child groomer, human trafficker, then leaves. Highly unprofessional. Let's see.
Involved in that. Human trafficking, not only in our country, but in our world, is very, very real. It's very dangerous. And as you saw recently in Virginia, the arrest we made of the MS-13 member, unrelated to this, we learned at that press conference, that's where they bring young children into our country and they start grooming them at middle school age to become MS-13 full-fledged members, commit violent crimes throughout our country. It is highly organized. It is very dangerous. And they are living throughout our country, but no more, because they are being arrested, they are being prosecuted, and being convicted and deported when appropriate.
I think Democrats are trying to hide the fact that he's being brought back for due process in terms of human trafficking. Like that's what he's being charged with. Like that's why you're not seeing any of them saying that. They're saying like, he's coming back for due processing. Like, but if you actually read further into the Democrat CNN fucking shithole articles, they're finally
1,000 words down the article,
right? They'll tell you finally that they're bringing him back so that way they could charge him with crimes related to human trafficking, conspiracy of human trafficking, and so on. Of course, we all saw the body camera. We've all seen the court documents, the restraining orders that his wife was attempting to get on him, all of that sort of stuff. We're not bringing him back so he could have his fucking 2-minute interview. We're bringing him back so that way he could be duly processed for crimes of aiding and abetting the invasion of our southern border.
He's coming back for lollipops and palm trees, dude, and new fucking Bulls hats.
Right. Let's see. Brooklyn Dad defiant. Huge breaking. Kilmar Garcia is currently headed back to the United States where he will face criminal charges despite Trump admin attempts to keep him in El Salvador. Major win for due process. Bigly loss for Trump.
That dude's a fag, right? Man.
So again, they're still trying to avoid the fact, right? But they're still trying to avoid the fact that he's being charged with human trafficking. I guess the whole thing that they're trying to point is like Donald Trump said he would never come back to the United States, right? And I guess that's the whole point that they're trying to showed you he's coming back to the United States and he's going to do the rest of his fucking life in prison, but nonetheless he's doing it in an American prison. Woo! That's their big win, right? That's their big
world Constitution says so. Trump,
right? All right. Oh man, it's see what old Krasenstein has to say in his own words.
I am so immensely happy to report that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is returning to the United States, returning to his home and to his family. Donald Trump and his DOJ will charge him with two crimes of transporting migrants, but you know what? He gets due process. That's all Democrats wanted. We wanted him to have a fair trial, have due process, and uphold the Constitution of the United States. So this is a major win for the United States of America. All of you people, all of you MAGA people that cheered this on and hoped that he'd never return to his family, never get due process, you were wrong. You were wrong. Just remember that.
Right. Yeah,
you got a little nut on your chin, son.
It's funny they're trying to mark this up as like a win. Like, dude, like I say, the dude's going to fucking prison. Right? It's the way that it is. They're trying to mark it up as a win. I guess, of course, if a Democrat does get back into office, they're going to pardon him right away because of course he's just he's a Maryland man. He's a Maryland father.
Right. He's transporting migrants. It was like a group ride share, man.
Right. Yeah. So they could all get to work on the construction site. Oh, yeah. We also have documentation saying that this was the excuse that they were going to use if they ended up getting pulled over, that they were bringing them from Texas to Maryland to work on a construction site. Right.
They're coming from the opposite direction.
Right. Right. Yep. But they actually have the text message correspondence that basically lays out that as well, too. That was also in the CNN article that I read about it.
Dude, on the body cam footage, the one that I was talking about, where they show him in the Suburban transporting
Yep.
people, like he says that shit, and they say that they're coming from St. Louis, but they're like in Texas or some shit. You know what I mean? Like they're a totally different area where they shouldn't be if that's the way you were headed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. So yeah, these people are absolute fucking ridiculous nutcases. Nonetheless, they got their win. He's coming back and he's being duly processed, right? Woohoo, he gets to come back to America. Luckiest guy out there, I suppose, right? But nonetheless, man, absolutely fucking hilarious, ridiculous shit. The lefties are trying to count this as a victory. We told you he'd be back.
Yeah, good shit, man. And
Right.
the Krasensteins, that guy should stick to just vlogging there or other typing out his thoughts on the inner zones, because that he's coming back to his family and big win. You're like, what in
It's
the
a big
fuck?
win.
Just shut up. Just shut up, man.
Right.
Shut her
Absolutely.
down.
Absolutely feminine. The sound of your urine hitting the sound of your pee hitting the urinal sounds feminine. All right.
Right. Are you sitting on it?
Fucking Krasensteins, man. But speaking of illegal immigrants, what's the whole thing with the fucking the CCP bioterrorism fucking thing in the Michigan University lab?
Yeah, so you had some students there from China, right? And apparently, two of the students were, unbeknownst to anyone else, were actually like in some sort of like arranged marriage type of situation. But they were coming back from China, coming to the lab, to work back in the lab at the University of Michigan, and they had this type of blight that like a fungus that will kill wheat and rice and a plethora of other crops. And they're actually illegal to have in the United States, even in labs, unless it's like a controlled set that's built for it, obviously. And and that was the excuse, is that he wanted to run tests on the shit. First, he acted like he didn't know how it got in his bag, through customs and whatnot. They basically insinuating that someone else put it there. And then it finally came to the point where he said, well, he wanted to study it. But again, it's outlawed at the university. And what do you think you're going to do with that kind of shit? Some outlawed substance that kills crops with someone that we're currently in an economic warfare with, that's constantly trying to steal intellectual property and acts of espionage. Come
Right.
on now.
Right. Yep, dude, it's got to be tough to be one of those fucking customs, agents and stuff like that. You got to remember all these motherfucking things that are illegal. But at the same time, too, I mean, didn't they say like it was found in like a baggie that had like a label on it of some sort?
Yeah, in a vial, like it
Yeah.
was in a baggie, it had a label, but it was in a vial and shit. And it's pretty obvious that they were taking great care with it. There wasn't any. Well, I didn't know it was there. I mean, someone's not
Right,
going to
right,
take that kind of care to pack it in your bag. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Obvious setup shit. And with the Chinese, I mean, we have this going on constantly. People are caught up trying to pull off different schemes, whether it's bringing information, intellectual properties, bringing shit in, sicknesses, SARS, all this kind of stuff. It's pretty modus at this point. And then you have Trump trying to stop these foreign students from coming in to go to these universities. And then, of course, along with the injunctions, you got the whole left screaming its racisms, when in
Right.
reality, these policies are put in place because of the obvious reasons. Like, anyone that pays attention to the fucking news should be able to tell you at least, smidgens of memories of things that they've read over the past years, where this is a constant thing. And then,
Yep.
especially the Biden regime, they let all these, not only illegals and whatnot, they imported a whole bunch of legal immigrants as well, students, and just overwhelmed the colleges with them. And this is the horror that comes with that. You know what I mean? And some
Right.
shit that that the left and the libertarians can't seem to fucking fathom. They totally disregard human nature and act like everyone thinks like them. And if we just act like we're going to get along and trade, it's going to be one big rainbow's utopia. And fucking that's why you got Chase Oliver as fucking presidential pick. Like it's
Right. these people fundamentally, don't understand human nature. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. Man, we gonna fight. Man, we're gonna fight for resources. That's what we do.
Yeah, and we know
Um,
thousands of people were let in that are on the terrorist watch list.
right, right, yep. Shit, yeah,
Like
fucking
just recently, you had Tom Homan saying that there's going to be the possibility of serious terror attacks for a minimum of the next decade
right.
because of the damage that was just caused over the previous 4 years, man.
Right. Yep. And as you were saying, like the people like, oh, don't you guys read this stuff that, like I said, America, they have a week long fucking attention span, their mindsets kind of go in weeks and stuff like that. That's why, people like we just saw, Jamie Ratskin back in April could say like, oh, we need to bring Kilmar Garcia home and all this and that. Like,
Falsely arrested.
right, falsely arrested. He didn't have his due process, all that shit, and then fucking literally 2 months later, saying like, "Oh, I never stood up for him. I don't think any Democrats were actually fighting for me."
I mean, that's exactly what they do, and especially Ratskin. I mean, Mays put out another video where he's like, the Democrats have never been the party to defund the police, and then it's like rewind, and it's him, so, talking about defunding the police and moving funds over to more fucking things that are going to benefit the communities, right? And then a whole string of Democrats doing the same. Like, I
right,
mean, that's just what they do, and they're their other arm of the Democrat Party, the fucking media. They do the same kind of spin shit. Like Biden's not senile; it's a right wing conspiracy. Oh, we were duped and fucking we didn't know. You know what I mean? Like it's a constant flip flop. He needs to drop out because he's obviously cognitive decline. Oh, we didn't know. He hid it from us. Like, I mean, dude,
right.
just
Who could have ever known? It went
yeah.
right over our heads. I'm surprised. We thought the right wing were just being conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, it's constant spin, even like with the Joni Ernst shit. You have someone losing their fucking mind and being completely hyperbolic. Like, you're cutting Medicaid's people are going to die. And you're talking about people that shouldn't, be qualified for it anyway being cut. Real fucking abuse, right? Millions and
Right,
millions of dollars. And what was her reply? Well, honey, we're all going to die. And everyone's losing their goddamn mind. The media immediately, Jen Psaki, and, the response, we're all going to die. Like it was like a threat or
unbelievable.
something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it's constant spin, dude. And
They're
that's
saying they want everyone dead.
yeah, and
Yes,
it
heard it.
goes because
You
once you
heard it.
realize that, you almost can't even watch shit anymore because it's movies, shows, everything is fucking mind bending political hackery, and they
Right.
weave it into everything, social bullshit. Like it's
Yep. Yep. Shit, that's why I've just been watching movies from the 90s lately.
you're right.
From the 80s and 90s, all that shit. Good times, man. That's when shit was good.
The
But
zenith of fucking Western civilization, man.
you're right. Fucking Batman Forever, bro. That was the shit. Yep. Well, I mean, shit, you almost hate to say it, man, but fuck, dude. A lot of this fucking shit they're talking about saying is going to take place over the next 10 years. Hopefully it takes place in some lefty fucking towns. Maybe they'll fucking realize, the consequences of their political actions and
I don't even know if they can though. Like you see, they'll get robbed and then they refuse to tell the police the race of the fucking criminal because they don't want to be considered racists, dude.
Right.
Against oppressed peoples is.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I guess, like I say, it just depends on how polarized America continues to get. I mean, the whole 9/11 thing, America was sitting in a pretty decent spot. Economically, all that type of stuff before that took place. Of course, I was a kid back then, so what the fuck do I know? But nonetheless, we the 90s seemed to be a pretty good time in American history, to where 9/11 happened. At that point, America got fucking mad. America, we had a healthy fucking dose of xenophobia at that point, like, but at this point, like I say, America is so polarized. Even if something like 9/11 were to happen again, we'd still have, 50% of the country saying like, yeah,
Right.
as we just saw in Colorado, this last weekend, an Egyptian guy over in Boulder, Colorado, a Boulder, Colorado man from Egypt.
That just happens to be an illegal from Egypt that overstayed his fucking visa.
His skin is white. Mm-hmm. Mhm. A white man from Egypt.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the fucking an Egyptian illegal immigrant that came in under Joe Biden's fucking uh open border policy went ahead and firebombed a whole bunch of fucking Jewish people this past weekend. And of course, Donald Trump took immediate action. Of course, he started deporting the guy's entire fucking family right off the bat. But of course, we still have the lefty, fucking activist judges over there in Colorado saying like, oh, nope, you can't do that. Like, dude, this guy literally just committed an act of terrorism on American soil. Even said himself that it was fucking fueled by hatred, right? Free Palestine and whatnot. But nonetheless, we still have these lefty activist judges over here like, oh, nope, you got to keep his family here. Like, his kids need to be able to grow up on American soil too now, It's like, no, no,
The
you
world
like fucking,
constitutions.
right. Like in world constitution, they've got rights. Like their fucking their father just committed an act of terrorism on United States soil. Like I disagree. I'll be honest with
And
you.
yeah, and not to mention like people from that area, especially one where their father and husband just committed this act, pretty easy to deduce that they probably hold very similar views. I mean, and then historically we know that people from that area of the world have committed thousands. That's not even an exaggeration of terrorist fucking acts in just the past 25 years.
Right.
Thousands. You know what I mean? And the old jihad tracker. I don't even know if it's still running, but I mean, I know for sure it was up it well into the double digits, like in the 20,000 range of attacks. And this was years ago the last time I had looked at it. It's pretty insane. And then you have the extreme right, that's like, this is a psyop. It's to hell. It's to make you back to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like you got a foreign invader let in through Biden's border, firebombing, even if they're Jews, and what's American citizens, and a bunch of them were old as shit. You know what I'm saying? And as always, the enemy of my enemy is not my fucking friend. You know what I'm saying? Again, like to think that these people will commit thousands of acts similar or even more heinous, and then but this time though it's psyopses. Just
Right.
shut the fuck up, man.
Right. Yep. It's fucking sand desert man brain. It's fucking it's jihadis. I mean, it's obvious people that
It's from generations of inbreeding, man.
right. It's like literally your religion is it says like go kill Americans and Jews and stuff like that. Like that's one of you guys' charters and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably not the people we should be letting into like America or like around Jewish people and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, fucking these people should just be wiped off the fucking planet. But nonetheless, ethnic cleansing is wrong, guys. Uh, but at the very least, we should be able to keep them out of our fucking country. Like that's not a very big ask, I mean, people don't need to die, so that way we can like, oh, see what happened. Like people shouldn't have to die for that. Like just so that way we could sit here and like, oh, see what your policies bring about. Like no, dude, like those people should have not died in the first place because these people should have never been here, dude. Like, I mean, it's like I say, it's part of
But then
that
they'll say,
sickening part
but
of
Americans
politics.
commit acts of fucking violence too. Like, so
Right.
then we should import more? You
Right.
stooge.
Right. And I mean, nonetheless, yeah, sure. Americans fucking commit acts of violence and stuff like that. Americans do a whole bunch of stuff. Well, I guess that's the benefit of being a fucking American. Like
Right.
shit, dude. Like, I don't expect to be able to go to fucking, Indonesia and just go fucking start robbing people and shit like that and expect like, whoa, I'm an American, bro. Like, I don't expect anything like that.
But it
Nonetheless, going
says
to do anything.
people in the Constitution is. It means like
Right.
people, man.
Right. I wouldn't expect to be able to go to China and go start, like, I don't know, doing whatever the fuck they do. Shit, I don't know. You probably just wave an American flag over there and you go to jail or something like that. But nonetheless, I wouldn't expect to be, I wouldn't expect to be able to go to China and wave a fucking American flag, let alone people come to the United States saying that they're fleeing political asylum from their home country while waving the flag of their fucking home country. Like
Wrapping themselves in it and blocking traffic and
right.
yeah, dude.
Right. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. No, obviously, like I say, I don't expect that sort of treatment for myself in any other country. Why should anybody else expect that here? And why are people here advocating that people should be able to come here and do shit like that? Like, oh, we just got to give them a chance. Everybody deserves a chance. Like, no, not necessarily. Like, you deserve a chance to fucking, I guess, compete. You deserve the opportunity to file your paperwork and go about it the right way. Like, sure, you deserve that opportunity, but the opportunity to just show up and fucking come here and start expecting benefits and health care and all this and that type shit, like, no. And at the same time, while you're collecting all this shit, saying fuck America, fuck the American people, fucking waving the flags of your home country and shit like that, like, that's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you go to these other countries and, a lot of times you're going to get treated like shit by anyone other than the people that you're doing transactions with. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And, not to mention, like, you go to Mexico, there's no English radio stations or fucking TV stations. But here, I mean, you got it. And then like, the big corporations are in on it. Like, American streaming companies, fucking Netflix, dude. Like, you go on there and it's nothing but foreign fucking shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, they cater to these fucking people, man. It's like a disease of the fucking left, I want to believe, but in every aspect, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they cater to these cats, whether it's spending your tax dollars, fucking up your programming. You got to fucking press numbers to talk to someone that speaks English when you're trying to use customer service, so on and so on, man. This doesn't, I'm sure it doesn't happen anywhere else except for in Western weak-wristed fucking countries, and we're definitely on the verge of being that.
Right. Yep. That's what they're aiming for, at least on the Democrat side.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, fucking crazy shit. Obviously, like I say, stuff like this should never take place in the first place. Like you should be secure that if you're gonna die, it should be at the hands of another fucking American. But nonetheless, this is
And not
the
the government,
results.
like
Right, right. It's the results of left wing policy. If they can put everybody else first, before Americans, and then by the time we come to realize, we pull our heads out of our own asses, and it doesn't even matter. It's too late by then.
right. You're the UK. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're Hamtramck, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like where they fucking do the Muslim call to prayer over loudspeakers and what used to be a Polish fucking city. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep, absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. Like I say, that's why like I say, fuck, dude. We don't have time to fucking sit here and argue over like, oh, wow, they're doing a little bit of extra spending here and stuff. Like, I can't sign off on that. Like, fuck off, dude. Like, this is the
Right.
fate of the fucking United States that we're dealing with right here. Like this is our one chance. The fucking first person within the Republican side to ever have a fucking spine, like, and actually an actual spine, like I was talking about with with the Trump and Elon and stuff like that. Like cool, thanks, you donated to me, I'm not going to give you fucking special treatment, like I'm not giving you any extra subsidies, any fucking thing like that. Like this is about making America great. Like I say, he's the first fucking person that actually has a spine that's willing to say, like, I don't give a shit what you're going to try to do to me, I'm pushing this policy through, this is going to happen. And it's
Yeah.
I say it fuck, dude, it's time to get with the fucking program, at least just for right now, dude. Like, fuck,
Yeah. And these are all
give
the vast
fascism a
majority.
chance.
Yeah, and the vast majority of all these people are the same ones that have reigned over adding trillions and trillions of dollars onto the fucking debt, tripping out about this fucking single time spending bill, right? This one particular one's going to ruin the country. Like, bro, when you took office, this joint was 500 billion in debt. Now we're 37 trillion. Shut
Right,
the fuck up and sit down, son. You know what I
right.
mean? And like you said, it's definitely time to get on board. There's a reason behind it. This isn't the end game. This is a fucking step in it. Again, I'm not trying to fucking here's the MAGA cultists. It's not like that. Spend and spend it. It's gonna add on to the debt. You gotta spend money
Mhm.
to fucking do something rather than spend money to fund fucking tranny fucking pageants in Uruguay or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly, man. So like I said, we'll see how this whole big beautiful bill thing plays out, but nonetheless, it's definitely causing quite a stir in the fucking Republican Party over like I say, something rather minuscule and rather routine within Congress. Like I say, but it shouldn't be. Nonetheless, like I say, not denying that. Like I say, I would rather prefer single subject spending bills. I would rather prefer getting rid of these omnibus fucking giant pork filled bills and stuff like that. I'm told, yeah, I agree. Like I say, but why didn't you try doing that where you had the power, but Democrats were in office? Like, why didn't you stop them up then? Like
Yeah.
why? Like I say, why do we have to do it? Well, it's our fucking term to get shit done.
Yeah,
And
and
again,
I surely fucking don't believe. I mean, all of it I don't dig, but I also don't dig how he's trying to push getting rid of the fucking spending limit. He's like, let's get rid of it permanently, and then you have like Pocahontas, dude, retweeting it, saying she agrees and whatnot. Like, dude, if you got Pocahontas agreeing with you, dude, that's something you don't want to do, son. You know what I mean?
right,
And so there's lots of shit that you could say negative about it, but at the same time, it does more than any president in my lifetime in a single bill, as far as securing the border for real, paying for the wall, dude. Fucking, you know what I mean? Funding for like shit that matters with the military again, rather than militaryism in another country. It's updating our shit, taking better care of our troops, increasing the fucking count of the border fucking officers.
right, defending
Like,
the homeland,
yeah, it also fucking takes silencers or
right,
suppressors off the fucking list, that so I mean you'll be able to buy them, son. Like, you just roll up, dog. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right,
it does a lot of shit that changes the game, and the debt is it's going to increase regardless. If you think that this bill doesn't pass, the next one will, or 4 years down the road they'll really explode it. I mean, it's going to happen. So I mean, why not actually use it for fucking our own purposes for one fucking time?
right. Fucking, who was part of the biggest opposition to the whole the Hearing Protection Act?
Well,
Fucking silencer manufacturers.
yeah,
Yep, they were the biggest fucking. I don't know if they were the biggest, but they were a big, obviously, supposed to be fucking conservative, industry. But yeah, they were the biggest fucking people opposed to taking suppressors off the NFA.
Mm.
And it's because it
Uh,
fucking keeps their prices artificially high, man. Fucking
right.
it reduces
Scarcity, yeah.
competition.
Mm.
I feel like they only give out so many contracts, or they only allow so many companies to produce suppressors.
Hmm.
But if you get that off the NFA, they're going to have some competition. Which at the same time, it doesn't really matter, because prices are still going to be fucking high. As soon as they get pulled off the NFA, everybody's going to go want to rush out to get one. So of course, it's the demand's going to be fucking through the roof. So, I
Right.
mean, they're still going to have plenty of time to make a whole shitload of money before it starts to level back out, and the supply and demand starts to balance itself back out. But shit, dude, they're still going to make a ton of fucking money, especially because 90% of gun owners, even if they could afford a suppressor, wouldn't want to do it, because you have to literally fucking pretty much give the government your firstborn child in order to be able to get one at this point. Like, you have to basically agree to, like, oh, you could come drop by my house and inspect everything in my safe at any time. You don't need to give any notice whatsoever. Like, nah,
Right.
I'm cool with
Oh,
that. I'd rather
dude.
just not have a suppressor.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Yep. But yeah. So I mean, that'd be something cool at least. Hopefully we get it passed for that. But nonetheless, like I say, a lot of this stuff is really like you're saying, defense of the homeland, actually things to take care of the American people, rather than, like I say, just sending money abroad and fucking just printing out money and giving it to our friends and whatnot.
Yeah, and then plus, not to mention, months from now, instead of squabbling over funding for this or funding for the military or funding for the border, they can concentrate on instituting actual cuts, getting fucking tax cuts fucking solidified, and so on and so on and so on, man.
Right. Yeah.
Supposery, and you don't want to get your hopes up about shit. It's hard to put your belief in any of these fucking straight pieces of shit, but at the same time, I mean, like you said, it's rare that we have this opportunity, especially with someone at the helm that's like wanting to shaft the establishment in any way possible. You know what I mean?
Yep, and that's what we talked about, a couple years back when DeSantis was trying to challenge Donald Trump and shit like that. Like, no, it's got to be Donald Trump. Like, nobody else in the game has this, has what Donald Trump has, basically. The like I say, the just his personality within itself. And then at the same time, the fact that he's, like I say, absolutely fearless. He's getting sued left and right. He's getting charged left and right, mug shots, raids on his home and shit like that. And he's
Yeah.
still just like, fuck off, like I'm coming for you. Like, oh, I'm gonna come.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, DeSantis, fucking, Vance. I don't think anybody has that within him. I'm pretty sure just about everybody out there would fold under pressures like that. And again, like I say, Donald Trump's been a fucking squeaky clean fucking person his entire life. So I mean, it's not like they have anything on him. I'm sure a lot of these other people out here would definitely be susceptible to blackmail at one point or another.
Absolutely, dude. You dig deep enough on any given person, probably in the fucking country, and you're gonna find some serious dirt. And if they had anything on him, they would have put him away for the rest of his fucking life. And that's why they had to go with exaggerated fucking novel, real estate bullshit, and to change and novelly interpret laws to fucking try to make up some charges against them. And and I think that the vast majority of men would fold under that same pressure, especially when it comes to threats against your children and your family. I mean, the dude was shot in the ear. Regardless of how anyone wants to fucking frame it or try to play it off, we watched it fucking happen live. What I'm saying? Like,
yep. Yeah, dude, I still don't understand how people are trying to like, oh, that was all a setup. I bet you, like, come on, Elon Musk, release the documents proving that it was all just a setup the whole time. Like, what fucking sort of documents is Elon Musk gonna have? Like, fucking, oh, I'll open up the Twitter files and we'll see. There's correspondence here. Like, no.
If you remember, like when Trump was out of office, and I think it was what was it, Tucker interviewing Putin, and he asked him, if he had anything on Trump and shit, you know what I mean? If any of the rumors were true and stuff, and he was like, "How would I get this?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Looking at him dumbfounded, like, "The fuck, man?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they can keep me out of your American psyops, okay? Keep my name out your psyop mouth, okay? Yep. Fucking shit. Speaking of Putin, man, let's just talk about old fucking Ukraine's and Pooty Poots right now. So
Pooty Poo.
Right, this is a clusterfuck of a situation. Again, fuck, dude. If I was Donald Trump at this point, fuck you guys. Then figure out your own shit. I'm out of here.
Absolutely.
Like fuck, dude. Like honestly, if I was Donald Trump, I'd be pissed right now. I'd be pissed at fucking both of them.
You see, I don't know if you read that article I sent earlier. The latest quote from Trump on the situation is maybe the best thing for them is to fight it out for a while.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what you can really do, especially with Ukraine running out of fucking goddamn troops, dude.
You're right. Yep, running out of troops. We're not going to be supplying them no more. Like, fuck it. Let the cards fall where they may. And
I mean, where do you go with it? Like, are you on the Tim side? Like, Ukraine's the enemy of fucking America, man? And
I don't necessarily think they're our enemy. I mean, possibly at this point, dude. Like I say, based off of just the way that they've been acting during this entire fucking thing. Like threatening us if we don't give them enough fucking money, threatening our political leaders, threatening Donald Trump. There's that one fucking weirdo tranny lady that had a hit list of American influencers and shit like that were, anti-Ukraine and shit like that. Like they've been acting like we owe them this money this entire fucking time, dude. Like they've been acting like it is within your best interest that our country remained sovereign from Russia. Like otherwise, very bad things could happen to your children. Like fuck you guys. Like the fuck.
You seen like the Azov fucking video they put out, and they're burning effigies of heads of Donald Trump and Elon, and
burning the fucking American flag and shit. Like fuck you guys.
And then not to mention, like with the whole, Nord Stream, I mean, like I said, that's the way like Tim took it, right? Which is pretty good if you think about it, because the UN Charter states an attack on an allied nation, triggers Article 5, which is supposed to bring us into the fray. And, Germany's charged 2 Ukrainians with apparently blowing up the fucking pipeline, scuba divers and whatnot, pressuring Ukraine to extradite to Germany. And then that's attack on an allied nation and cut off the energy, right? They need to function. And you could say that that was to hurt Putin, but in reality, I mean, he's
hurt Europe.
exporting fucking fuel. Yeah, he's exporting fuel regardless. And yeah, it just made Europe have to pay a premium or fucking drained more of our coffers because Biden was fucking sending them shit out of the oil reserves and whatnot. um, you know, and you have that shit, and then you have Donald Trump trying to negotiate peace with Putin, and then meanwhile they're fucking blowing up, their nuclear fucking carriers, and you know what I'm saying, without even sharing the information, and obviously they did it with drones, and luckily it wasn't American drones because it's just going to be one more hash against us in the whole scheme of things, which Putin's reiterated repeatedly. But and then Trump says that a phone call with Putin, and he vows a retribution. Basically, he's saying fuck the peace talks. Like I was for it until right now.
Right. Yep. So yeah, like I said, fuck it, dude. Let them fucking have it out. Like fucking. Obviously, we need to get our fucking money back, though. I don't think Donald Trump's gonna just like, oh well, bygones. Good luck, guys. Donald Trump's still gonna try and fucking get what's best for America out of this entire situation. But at this point, dude, fuck Ukraine, dude. Like fuck them. Like honestly, like sorry, you guys destroyed your own fucking country. Like honestly, this was all you had to do was just fucking listen to what America was saying. Like fucking we were over here negotiating peace. There is zero possibility. You know this. We know this. Our government knows this. Your fucking government knows this. The Russian government knows this. Fucking the Russian people know this. Everybody fucking knows that Ukraine is not capable of fucking taking the land back from Russia, or fucking what were they trying to do earlier? Fucking weren't they trying to fucking make an incursion in toward Russia and shit like that at one point? What the fuck do you guys think you're doing? Like it's not gonna happen. Like honestly, like I say, they're really just throwing their own people into the fucking meat grinder at this point. Like they're literally burning down their own nation at this point. It's like fuck it, dude. Let them fucking burn, I guess. But yeah, nonetheless, we need to try and get something out of this. Like we can't just walk out of there empty-handed. Like, oh well, we sent you billions and billions and billions of dollars, and well, you lost. Sorry, you're Russia now. Like no, like we fucking signed a deal. Like we're taking our minerals out of there. One way or the other. But yeah, I mean, it's just definitely gonna make shit a whole lot more difficult.
Absolutely, man, and especially as far as Putin's concerned, if he doesn't strike back, dude, he's going to look horrible to his own people.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of them have already lost any kind of gusto they had for the conflict to begin with. But now this far in the game, and then you see that your own shit's getting blown up, and there's no retribution. His own people's going to turn on him, man. He basically has to do it. Right.
I mean, it's literally like they're at the point where they're about to bump gloves and like, oh, good game. And Zelensky's like right in his face. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, honestly, you can't let that slide. You can't just, if you're Putin, you can't just like, oh, you little scamp, like, no, he's going to have to fire back, and it's like I say,
that's the fucking most corrupt little laundromat in Europe.
Yep, and like I say, we should not fucking defend them in any way, man. We shouldn't, continue to fund them. We shouldn't continue to send them arms, anything like that. Like honestly, dude, like I say, like you did all this shit behind our back. Like we've been working on this for months now. We've spent billions of fucking dollars on you, and this is the what you're gonna do. Like, nope, honestly, like you should cease to be a nation at this point.
Yeah, and then not to mention, I mean, Zelensky fired like his whole interior, cabinet for embezzlement and whatnot. I mean, we have all these funds where even he's saying, in different interviews that only like half of he can account for only like half of the money that's been sent over there. The rest, like I don't know what happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as he's trying to insinuate it didn't actually come over, or if it did, that he doesn't know where it went. And you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing is just fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah.
And then, they're like, you got to fight the Russian oligarchs. Like, Zelensky is an oligarch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are you even talking about, man?
Right. Yep. But yeah, man, like I said, I don't know why we got involved in this in the first place. I mean, I guess again, I understand like, oh, they denuclearized for us and we, promised them securities and stuff like that. But at the same time, dude, like, we've escalated at the same time too. We also, fucking promised Russia that that NATO wasn't going to incur any further toward their borders and stuff like that. And we fucking have them completely surrounded at this point. Like literally the only piece we're missing is Ukraine. And we're over here talking with Ukraine about inviting them into NATO. Like we violated just as many shits as they did. Like I say, doesn't matter. Not our fucking, not our circus,
Yeah, NATO's violated the Minsk Accords repeatedly.
Right.
Even now, since this has been going on, what did they add? Like Finland and Sweden or some shit? Like, you know what I mean? They just keep adding countries. Why? The repercussions are unfolding right in front of their fucking faces, and they're like, "No, it's Russia. See, like,
Right.
you're trying to fucking form a one world government. Is what you're doing, and Russia doesn't want no fucking part of it."
Right.
And obviously I'm not pro Putin, right? The dude's a dictator. He's been in fucking power most of my lifetime, man. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. Like we
Right.
have nothing to do with any of it. Regardless of any nuclear proliferation, that has nothing to do with being an ally. They're not part of NATO. You know what I mean? And the promise was for defensive assistance, not offensive assistance. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I guess to that end, they could say, "Well, we didn't use American drones."
but if Russia takes Ukraine, definitely Poland's next, 100%
Right.
chance. Like,
Right.
no, he's not. Like I say, Ukraine at this point, that used to be part of Russia. Obviously way back in the day and stuff like that. But nonetheless, yeah, I forgot where I was
A
going with
big
that. But
portion of the
they're not
people
going into
out
Poland.
there want to be part of Russia. They're Russian speakers, they're Orthodox Christians, and they've been, persecuted by the Ukrainian government as far as, being abused, having shit cut off, services, churches shut down. They're not allowed to elect their own leaders. They're, you know what I mean? Like they pass referendums, the Ukrainian government overturns it. And it's a whole, situation, much more nuanced than the vast majority of any Americans that are pro or even willing to consider. You know what I mean?
Right. And so, yeah, that's why, dude, honestly, it's kind of been our argument for some time now, dude. We just need to step back from being the world police, let the world sort out its own fucking problems, let it fucking, equilibrate. If that's the proper term. I don't know. Let us come back to a fucking level,
They just need to worry about our own shit for a minute. It's not isolation, it's self-preservation. You know what I mean? Like shit's fucked up, we're going down. We need to stop paying for fucking the world's actions and inactions and tranny surgeries and shit. And we need to concentrate on building America up from within once again. At this point, we're just about a dependent fucking country. Like the only thing our major export is fucking a war machine and fucking American dollars, which people are losing interest in real fast. They just held a bond sale and they had to massively raise the yield to even get rid of the motherfuckers.
Don't forget, we're also exporting rainbow flags and pride culture and stuff like that.
That's really the Jews', but you know what I mean? They imported it here.
Right. Used to be movies and stuff like that. Now it's just weird stuff.
Right, and it's the absolute left. They're complete fucking deviants, On that note, you see Hegseth renaming the old USS fucking Harvey Milk. Like,
right.
I mean, the Biden regime literally, named one of our fucking warships after a fucking homosexual fucking pedophile, man. What the fuck, dude? Sick bitch deviants, dude.
Yep, shit. Another, thing of note was what was the whole thing with fucking Glenn Greenwald, right? So from what I know, he was basically the person that broke the Snowden thing. So obviously a fucking cocksucker, but the whole thing is the fucking meth pipe on the
right.
The table,
apparently he's dressed as a maid, you know what I mean, and doing weird sexual shit involving feet, and and then a meth pipe there, and of course he bought other people's children, so that was the whole spiel. Like this is why you shouldn't let fucking the gazes be fucking dads. This is what happened when there's two dads.
Right. I totally agree on that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking males are deviants. There's difference between males and women. There, men's and women's is there's differences. But
Yeah.
obviously, fucking two men aren't going to do a very good job of raising children. That's something I've always stuck to. And at the same time, obviously, they can't fucking reproduce. The only way to fucking stop this sickness disease is to don't let them fucking adopt children. Don't let them artificially reproduce. Then
Fuck no, Hocho.
right? That shit's wrong, man.
Right. These two men butt stabbing.
Right.
Fuck, man. Yep, absolute terrible shit. And like you said, there's a difference between men and women. Did you see, like, the shit that they, subject you to across the inner zones is in alive if you're unfortunate enough to live in the leftist areas with these pride events and shit, and it's always dudes dressed and acting just, completely disgusting in public in front of children and so forth. Zero shame, right? The old saying, it's being applied a lot to the Blixes these days on the inner zones, but it surely applies to them. Is ashamed of nothing but offended by everything,
Right.
and that is, the absolute summing of the left these days, man.
Absolutely, man. These people are absolute deviants. We are seeing a bit of a cool down, though. These big corporations and stuff like that sponsoring pride events. Didn't they lose like fucking millions and millions of dollars in funding for their normal
Tens of millions, man.
and tens of millions of dollars for their normal deviants in the streets, fucking parades and stuff like that. So
Yep.
it's
Under
definitely-
the debauchery for 2025 is underfunded, and some events have had to be cut. Fucking
Right.
the earth is healing, bro. And then and then a lot of companies didn't put up the old fucking Gamebo flags all over
Yep.
the joint, and even some of the ones that did took it down pretty quickly.
Right, dude. I was listening to that fucking, was it like Haley something or another, the chick that took over, that took the slot in Bongino's fucking Rumble and shit like that, dude. I was listening to her the other night, fucking talking about like, oh, like pride's winding down and stuff like that. People aren't like, but dude, at the same time, she's over there like I never supported the boycotts. I never supported any boycotts. Like boycotts, I've always been against boycotts and shit like that. Like they solved nothing. Like, did we solve anything with the Bud Light boycotts? No, Bud Light's still a company. Like they're still doing like. Yes, we did. Like, fuck,
they've lost billions of dollars in market
Right.
cap space, and they went from the number 1 beer in the country to like number 5. So
And at the
yeah,
same
and this
time-
is a couple years later.
And at the same time, they did what we fucking wanted them to. They stopped pushing this fucking weirdo gay fucking shit down our throats, literally being beer company and stuff like that. But they stopped pushing, shoving all this fucking, pride stuff down our throats, as we're seeing with, other, stores like Target, things like that, other stuff that did get boycotted, all these other, brands that basically got ridiculed and this and that. They're capitalists. They're capitalist in nature. They're obviously seeing that, oh, well, this pride stuff is very, very unpopular. Like, yeah, we're not doing that this year. So ultimately, yes, that shit fucking was effective. That shit won. Like, she's over here like fucking like, oh, like yeah, we are seeing the pride stuff coming down and stuff like that, but I never really cared about it when it was for adults and stuff like that. Like, yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like, we're not fucking fighting for adults to not be gay. Like, whatever. You
Not
do your
to
fucking
mention
thing.
voting with your dollar is a pretty age-old thing, man.
Right. So, I mean, like I said, we're not over here trying to fucking shut down companies and all this and that type shit. Like, no, we're trying to tell you, like, hey, we don't fucking like this shit. If you continue with this shit, we're gonna stop giving you our fucking money until you stop doing this shit. So yeah, ultimately, like I say, it was effective. It was a win. The results speak for themselves. Look at June this year. Not much going on, is there?
It's Veterans Month, man.
Right.
Next month is MAGA month, bro.
Absolutely. And you guarantee we're going to see tons of American flags and, a whole bunch of patriotic shit next month. That's for sure. But we're definitely not going to see a whole bunch, obviously we're still, it's not like fucking, pride is completely shut down. You're not going to see one single rainbow flag. I'm sure there's still plenty of fucking pride shit going on all over fucking, California, Seattle, all these fucking, far left places and stuff like that. But nonetheless, the vast, overwhelming, like I say, advertised, corporatized, fucking jammed down your throat, fucking rainbow flags and, you know, sexual deviance and shit like that to your children, even that shit's gone away, you know. So ultimately, like I said, dude, it was a win. You know, it was a win. I don't care what your personal feelings about boycotts and like, oh, that's a lefty thing. I don't care if it fucking gets results done. Like, dude, we are moving so far fucking left. Like, so I say, dude, like this is our opportunity to fucking actually try and steer the ship back in the right direction, at least, you know. So yeah, fuck
I
it.
got a
Take the
comment though
opportunity.
on the fact that you're taking all this away from the Haley show. Fucking Dan Bongino absolutely has destroyed his brand. I'd have to say, dude. Like I
Yeah.
mean, the shows that took the slots and whatnot are poop. They're nowhere near the
Yep.
same attractiveness quality. It doesn't hold you as long. The chicks that come on, I don't even like to fucking listen to them. Even the
Right.
Haley chick, I saw her initial when she came on that Evita shit. You know what I'm saying? When the Evita show first started, she came on for an interview. I
Girl talk.
listened then, yeah, and decided then there's no way in fuck I'm gonna listen to this chick show. And
Right.
and then the Evita show, like you said, not only is she's like a young millennial chick, but at the same time, I mean, she talks about gummy bear shit that I definitely never
Right.
tuned into the Dan Bongino show to listen to.
It's like the
And
fucking
the whole
Brett Cooper
silver
of
lock
Dan
thing,
Bongino.
right? The whole silver lock thing, dude. Like, that's not like a catchy. That's not the Bongino show. You know what I'm saying? And Vince is fucking. He's a milk toast.
Right.
Drone. You know what I mean? It's yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like
Yep.
fuck,
They
man.
don't have none of them have
Boring.
that fucking that X factor, man. I was sitting there the entire time I was listening to it, though, just commenting like, "This is very hard to listen to." Like, I'm really having to fucking force myself to sit through this right now. Like, they're just talking all kinds of shit. Like, the boycotts worked fucking great. Like the entire fucking thing wasn't like, oh, Bud Light's still in business. Anheuser-Busch is still a company. Like, no fucking shit. Nobody thought that we were gonna fucking completely shut down
They've been around for a
Anheuser-Busch.
century, man.
Right, right. We weren't thinking that, oh, haha, they're gonna go out of business. You know, like nobody was thinking that at all. Like, no, it was just like, dude, like this shit's going too far. Fuck those guys. Get your shit back together, otherwise you're fucked. You know,
Yeah.
they've really become a case study in fucking in bad marketing. You know, and what
Yeah,
happens
no,
when
I'll
you
be
let
honest with
women
you.
fucking market men's shit. You know,
I'll be honest with you. My hope, dude, for that that particular situation you're speaking on, old Budweiser, going out of business. I wasn't even thinking that because it's InBev, which is what is it? That's a French company, I believe, right? That actually
yeah,
owns them. I would like to see it sold back to an American. You know what I mean? It's an American label. It's been around over a century. And
right,
at this point, I have. It's not like I drink Budweiser anyway, but
right,
the Bud Light is just piss water. Like it's not even fucking beer. And
yep,
you bring it back to the old school way down there in Tennessee, man.
hell yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'd fucking love to see that shit. We're bringing manufacturing back home. Might as well
Right.
bring that too, you know?
So I mean, and that I think that right there would be a massive boost to the brand. Like as far as market cap space, if you really wanted to turn it around, make it an American company again. Because a French company trying to put out reciprocal fucking patriotic commercials after cruising around with Dylan Mulvaney, that's not going to work. You know what I mean? And we're talking the same company that makes what is it? Stella Artois, Corona, fucking Modelo. I mean, like or is it Modelo? It may not be Modelo, but a bunch of different labels that you try to drink to avoid Budweiser is still InBev.
Right. I think they make a Modelo too. I think because of course when that whole thing was going down, man, fucking everybody, most people just boycotted Bud Light, but everybody that was real hardcore about it, we fucking searched up everything that they produce. We
Right.
fucking boycotted all.
That's
Well, then again,
I did
I
at
don't
the
drink,
same
so
time too because I
I've
found
been
out my
boycotting all
beer
of
is
it.
made by them as well, which is shit. Fucking Stella, you know what I mean? So I mean, I'm still giving them money, but
Yeah.
it was just a long time ago. I just didn't remember that list, man.
Right. Right. Yep. But yeah, man, fucking so yeah, the whole thing of like, oh, culture war shit like that doesn't do anything. Like fucking dude, like that's old think, man. That's old think. That's boomer
Yeah.
shit. Neocons.
There's a lot of that, dude. I mean, the vast majority of the shit that happens around you is because of that's the largest voting bloc. Even with the spin on the leftist media, even though that's kind of repetitive, redundant, right? Um, they're the ones that listen to that shit and believe it. Like they do that spin for them. There's no people under I'd probably 50, maybe a small percentage that's watching fucking Rachel Maddow or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, dude, that's the people that you hear say the most nonsensical shit as well. And that when you see these protests, the ones that aren't violent or not violent yet, that's all the people out there holding signs and singing songs. It's all 60, 70-year-old motherfuckers, man. That's the
Right.
largest block that's anti-Trump.
It's all nice and calm till somebody throws a fucking tear gas. Till someone throws a chair, man. Yeah, or in this case,
Which
a
was
walker.
happening tonight. I don't know if you've seen those videos as well, man. You had
I think so. I think I saw one in LA, right?
Yeah, attacking ICE facilities, and they had to stand up in the doors, fucking popping off gas rounds and shit. And yeah, man. I mean, these leftists need to go to prison. Like the putzing around, like you said earlier, man, that we rarely have a chance where we have control of all levels of government at this point. And I say we, obviously, just as a Trump voter, fuck spineless bitch ass Republicans, right? But it's time to crack down. Before Trump, it was, if anything, he had too easy of a hand while they're calling him fascist, right? And right now's the time. These ICE facilities are cracking out, dude. Fuck it, you know what I mean? Break them off real quick. A lot of those little trans Tifas motherfuckers are going to stop running around. They start taking rounds to the chest and shit, dude. Tell you what.
Right. Tell you what, they're going to stop running real quick.
Yeah. I mean, dude, any other time, if you attacked an officer, what's going to happen, bro? You're going to get smoked, right? But these fools can come in groups and attack them, and it's supposed to be okay. And you know what I mean? If you arrest them, you're overstepping. And you know what I'm saying? If it does manage to get them in jail, you got fucking leftist politicians raising their bail money.
Right. Yeah, that's why you just need to start charging them with serious shit, man. Fuck it, dude. Let them spend all their fucking their war chest, man.
Right.
Fuck it. You know?
Right. Bonds $3 million.
Right. $3 million a piece, man. You got about 50, 60 protesters locked up, man. I hope you can afford it. They're all being charged with fucking terrorism.
Right. It'd be $500,000, bro.
Right. Let's see. We have some ICE protests in downtown Los Angeles. Let's go ahead and check this out.
If they start shooting shit, make sure that the kids are away. Make sure we try to keep ourselves safe as much as possible. If you're going to leave, do not leave alone. Don't leave by yourself. Make sure you go with somebody else.
Oh, that's responsible.
Move, streets! What do we want? Stop the deportations! When do we want it? What do we want? Stop the deportations! When do we want it? What do we want? Stop the deportations! When do we want it?
It's mighty catchy, man. But at least they're being responsible, you know.
Dude, just send out
to the buddy system.
Right now, you just send out an army of like 500 fucking swatted up officers and just start snatching kids, bro. You know what I mean? It's going to be a whole lot of screaming and running, dude. You know what I mean? When they're backing away as they're throwing bottles and stuff, you're just bringing it on yourself. But you start getting aggressive, they're going to start crying and running and shit.
Fuck it. Let's stop beating around the bush. We know that this is going to get out of hand in just a couple hours. Let's just fucking get to it right away so we could go home sometime at a decent hour. You know, Fuck, anybody that's not ready to get violent, get the fuck out of here. Disperse now, because we're going to start throwing tear gas at you guys immediately.
What the fuck have we been taxed millions of dollars, dude, to pay for all this tactical gear and all these, less than lethal weapons and armored vehicles and all this kind of shit for? If they're not going to use them, they're just going to let themselves be attacked and shoot off some gas and run and stuff, bro. You know what I mean?
Right. Geez, Smoke and Scan Entertainment. Let's see. It looks like they're covering the original Police Chase channel. Smoke and Scan. I wonder if there are some potheads.
very rare, especially when you go to a school system like the LAUSD and find somebody who's an actual educator.
This looks like it's live, but let's go ahead and just check out some of the videos.
Even that, hitting them with bottles and shit, like you can see her doing it. You're facing them, boo. Bam, gas round to the chest, son.
Right.
What? It's less than lethal.
You'll live. Do all fucking Terminator style, just shoot everybody in the leg. They'll live.
Right.
Crack some skulls, man.
Yep, dude, and then you'll get the old
looks
like,
fun.
you know what, the
Oh, good sound,
ability
good
to
sound.
protest. Like, it's not even about protests. You're attacking federal officers and cops, man. You know what I mean? You're impeding
Right, destroying
traffic, you're
property.
blocking roads. Yeah, you're destroying property. Fucking, you know what I mean? They're throwing bottles and rocks and I'm like, dude, that's not, you know, peaceful protest or something that's going to get anything done. That this is just
Right.
people taking out their fucking mental illness and aggressions out on the wrong people, regardless of how they feel about deportation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not to mention, these are people that are trying to advocate for foreigners if they're not themselves such.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So, well, but at least it's good to see them actually, trying to break it up a little bit sooner. Seems than they normally do.
300 norte de Los Ángeles. A llegar ahí.
300 norte de Los Ángeles. 4, a las 4. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, guys. That's it, guys.
I mean,
Let's see, California situation in LA business where owner. Right. That's why I had to read the fucking thing. Where owner locked ICE agents inside is reportedly calming down. ICE captured 20 people. Crowds were not letting agents leave. ICE called FBI for backup. Tear gas was used. Rumor protests at federal courthouse. All right. So it looks like they're going to keep on going, guys. Keep on trekking. See, are the Democrats and Soros funding these ICE protests in LA? Probably. Out there with paintball guns
Dude,
and shit.
I give a shit when anyone says they can call me a whatever ism or whatever, but sometimes you need a little fascism, dude. You know what I mean?
Right. Let's give fascism a chance.
Right. Exactly.
Right. But yeah, I mean, when this is the results, I mean, obviously this is the type of stuff that leads to authoritarianism. You know, like we talk about it, all the time. I mean, that's why the Democrats fucking fund this type of stuff. They want chaos in the streets because when you have chaos in the fucking streets, people are afraid, and when people are afraid, they're going to give power to fucking government so that way they could solve the problems. And then there you go. There's more power to government, and what's the government going to do with that more power? They're going to make more fucking problems. So that way you could be more afraid. Right. It's an endless fucking cycle of just the government, just, or just people in power in general. I don't want to sound all government, man, but just those in power that want to stay in power, want to increase their power. They're not going to, you get more support for people by showing them things that is going to make them angry rather than by simply taking care of their needs and making them happy. Like, you're going to get much more support by pissing people off, against your opponent and stuff like that than you are about actually taking care of them. That's why they have these lefties out here in California every week, like oh, the homeless need homes and shit like that. It's like, dude, you guys have had power there for decades now. Like, why do the fucking homeless people still on the streets? Why has the problem increased
exponentially?
Right. Like, dude, like, are you ever going to question that? Like, no, because the Democrats are just going to come in here and promise more and more things. And then they're just going to, they're going to fuck things up. They're going to blame their opponents. And then the people in the streets are going to be like, yeah, it's because the Republicans, or it's because of the white man's and fascism and this and that, But meanwhile, like I say, it's the Democrats. They fuel this chaos, because like I say, when there's more chaos,
this far, dude,
they get more power.
Historically, what is this? What has happened shortly after this? Right, this is how you get Augusto Pinochet elected, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Good times, man. Good times. Fucking, you can always count on California, states with a smaller population than Los Angeles County. Yep, these people are absolute fucking psychopaths.
Don't make. Hey, relax. Don't make. I know. Don't record. Please. Hey, bro, please.
Don't the record.
Right, man. Gone, dude. Deported.
Right. Right. Yep. Fucking. Yep. That's the one thing that we're gonna do so we can fight fascism is we're gonna silence all of our opponents. We're gonna make sure that the truth can never actually get out as to what we're doing here, and we're going to make sure that at all times we use violence and cover our faces and shit like that, so that way people they can't see the good that we're doing. Like we're modest. We don't want people to praise us as heroes or nothing like that. We're fighting fascism. Fucking ridiculous, right? We're gonna censor our opponents and try and fucking ban them from being able to speak freely, like so that way we can stop fascism, because those guys are fascists, and so we need to stop them from being able to share their ideas.
Right, it's the old end democracy to fucking defend democracy.
Right. Yep. Absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. Good old lefties. Good old lefties.
And speaking of California, right? Another fucking Democrat politician fucking, charged with a crime, right?
Right.
Old Maxine Waters is, man, right?
Yep.
She, the whopping fucking $68,000 fine, man, for, election fraud in her re-election 2020. With shortcomings and overestimates of donations and expenditures to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. When, again, the shitty ass DOJ is going to convince you that this is justice. We're fining her $68,000. But yet guys like Dinesh D'Souza go to prison for, over donating for $5,000. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's justice to maybe an extent to her pocketbook. I'm sure she's a millionaire, probably not at all. But, this is two-tier justice no matter what. No matter what.
Well, I could already tell you what's happening here. It's racism. That's why. Everybody's just going after Maxine Waters because she's black. That's all.
Right. Yeah, and this has been so many times her associated with some sort of financial corruption, whether it be giving out contracts to family members, paying her daughter, involved in fraudulent fucking bank transactions with her husband. I mean, so on and so on. This is one of the most corrupt people in Congress and one of the biggest fucking grifters as well. I mean, another fucking dinosaur, reptile carcass that needs to see its way to the graveyard, man.
Yep. Fucking. So hopefully, something comes of it, but yeah, I'm not holding out much hope at this point. But
and that's all that's going to come of it. The fine $68,000, and that's a wrap. It's over.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I said,
$68,000. I made millions of dollars off of this fucking deal. Here you go. Here's the check.
Yeah. Got her reelected, and not to mention her fraudulent schemes and what she's already made. This is less than her fucking yearly income that we pay.
Right. Yep, shit. Like I said, she'll be able to write that off fucking right away. Right away. Matter of fact, she'll
How
probably
many Democrat politicians though? I mean, even because if you remember, even at towards the end of the Biden fucking regime, there was like state officials, Democrats and shit being arrested for election fraud and racketeering, and like old gold bars Menendez, and like I
right.
mean, you could just keep going with all these Democrats that have been arrested, but yet it's a constant thing of the rights are fascists and they're criminals, and it's the same with the videos that we just watched of all these so-called protesters and scam Tifa running around and abusing old Christians and shit like that, and it's this exact same shit. It's I lost it, but you know what I'm saying, like it's a
Right. And
it,
shit,
it, it,
you have to wonder if there's any sort of a conclusion here other than total collapse.
yeah, I mean that or Trump needs to absolutely disregard, these circuit judges and wait for Supreme Court to hand down, actual fucking, judgments as far as what's constitutional and what's not. And, I mean, the left cheered on Biden doing the same. And that's the
Right.
only way shit's going to get done at this point.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's yeah, sad. You hate to say it. You hate to say that that's the way that America's got to run. But at this point, like I say, it's the corruption runs way too deep.
Yep. The courts ruled, now let them enforce it. But what the
Right.
fuck are they going to do? They're going to come and arrest the sitting president, dude? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure they'll try.
I mean, I think that would be, a step too far. That's an out and open fucking coup. It's no, covert working through the media and fucking, the social media platforms. I mean, that would be a legit in your face fucking coup, dude. You know what I mean?
think it depends on how the midterms go. If the midterms go in favor of the Republicans, which historically not likely, but nonetheless, it's still possible with the momentum that we have with Donald Trump's popularity and stuff like that. I mean, shit, he could end up taking the midterms and still maintaining the House and the Senate, possibly even gaining some seats. Who knows? But nonetheless, if that takes place, the Democrats are going to get desperate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're going to try some historical shit.
I mean, they're desperate now. That's why they jump from thing to thing and spin shit like, we're bringing a fucking, MS-13 human trafficker back, illegal back from El Salvador. It's a Wednesdays. I mean, they're desperate as shit. They literally take any scrap they can possibly get, regardless of how rancid, and turn it into fucking, you know what I mean?
Right.
We're winning's the daisies.
They're literally looking for a new, quote, Joe Rogan. That's going to be left wing, because even though Joe Rogan was left wing up until probably
left wing,
right? I mean, in terms of the media standards and stuff like that, he was a Democrat supporter, all the way up until like a month or two before the fucking election actually took place.
I think might even have been less than that. It might even have been days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like he didn't endorse Donald Trump until the fucking bitter end. And so now the like I said, they fucking alienated their own Joe Rogan, and the whole thing with the Democrats is just their lack of authenticity. They're like they're literally trying to find a Joe Rogan that's going to say exactly what Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
he's not
he says
being
what he
fed
wants
fucking
to say.
lines. He's not being like, oh, ask him about this, like through an earpiece or something like that. He's authentic, and that's the whole thing that they're missing. Is that's the thing that they lack the most. But at the same time, it's because that's the thing that they're trying to hide from the most. Because if they're their true authentic selves, they're going to be over here advocating for some heinous fucking shit that's going to be obviously construed in the way that it's meant to be, and people are gonna like, yeah, no, I ain't cool with all that.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's why they got to make up fucking characters. That's why they just, oh, what are my policies today?
Yep, fear porn. If you remove illegals off of fucking Medicare, Americans will die. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, dude? What the fuck?
Yep. Yeah, dude, they're just I say they're a listless vessel. Their only true direction is the opposite of Trump. So
yeah, that's their only platform, especially because his was theirs from 10 years ago. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like just about everything that he wants to put forth as far as securing the border, the tariffs, the trade deficits, all this kind of shit. Every Democrat now that publicly speaks out against them was saying almost verbatim fucking before he took over as president.
Right. And at the same time, man, like I say, normally once a president takes office and stuff like that, and they start, implementing their things or slow rolling this out or whatever, now people are starting to expect their campaign promises and whatnot. Normally approval starts to go down and the approval for the opposing party starts to go up, but we're really seeing the opposite of that here. Donald Trump's approvals, kind of stable. It's not necessarily skyrocketing. It's not, like everybody's so proud of Donald Trump, but nonetheless, it's dropped far less than they were expecting. So nonetheless, he's maintaining his support. At the same time, the Democrats' support, even though they are the opposing party that's not in office right now, their approval and their support continues to go down. So
Even polls that try to tell you that he's gone down, they want you to believe that he also had a 21-point jump. That
right.
you know what I mean, within a couple days span, which is absolutely ridiculous and would be anomalous. You know what I mean, in the least.
Right.
I think his support has stayed steady, and it's actually gone up a little as far as he's fucking got balls, and he just keeps going. Like you were saying earlier, regardless of what stands forth, he's like a bull. The goal's there. He's just going to keep chugging that route, man.
Yep, absolutely, man. So I mean, this could actually spell the actual end for the Democrat Party. Like I say, this, I mean, of course, our entire lives, all we've known, Democrat, Republican. That's been, kind of the third parties here and there, but they never get, their novelty parties. But it's always
I
been
think
Democrat,
that they're
Republican.
trying to hold out for that midterm win, and the holdout obviously is the long game for 2030 when that census comes around. And as long as they can fucking win the midterm and keep as many people in the country as possible, or win the presidency in 2028 and reopen the floodgates before the census, dude, that the goal is obvious: one party rule, and no one will ever win again except for a Democrat.
But that's what I'm saying, though, man. Like at the direction that they're going right now, they don't look to like they're going to win the midterms, let alone the 2028
Right.
election. So I mean,
Right.
this could be the actual end of the Democrat Party. They're going to have to completely collapse
If
and
we can
regroup
hold the
into something else.
midterms, they're fucked.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, dude, this could be their actual fucking their final nail in their coffin. I mean, like I say, they're a listless vessel right now. Like I said, they're in full fucking panic mode. Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they're freaking out because they could see the writing on the wall. Like, they
Yeah,
could
and
see
them
that
and their media cronies that try to push specific characters as leaders are
Mhm.
mocked and derided across the fucking
Right.
interzones. You're fucking, you're
The fucking
Dracula
memes are
Bateman,
killing them.
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, I mean these people are not serious people and absolute clowns, especially when you come to the AOC wing of the party and shit. Just fucking clowns.
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot more comedians, that are conservative. We're starting to see, a lot more, full on conservative comedy tours and things like that. It's like I say, we're taking over the culture. We're taking over all this stuff that they used to hold dear and they used to, use to hold sway over the minds and hearts of the American people. We're taking over all of that shit now, dude.
Mm.
Like I said, that was their big weapon. They don't got none of that shit no more. Like you were just saying, every type of a celebrity personality that's has been washed up. Their last great movie was fucking 40 years ago. All those people, that's all they got left. And they're getting ridiculed and mocked every single time they come out here and try and talk tough and try and fucking like, oh yeah, Democrats and stuff like fucking what is it, fucking what's it, Robert De Niro and shit like that. Those types of people.
Bruce Springsteen
Right,
fucking
Bruce
talk
fucking
shit on America
Springsteen.
in another country, and then the next day proceeds to pull a Biden and fall down on stage. You know what I'm saying? Fuck off, man. Fuck
Right.
out of here. You're the
Right, dude. Like I
boss of
said,
your own
they're getting
underwear, son.
ridiculed left and right. The only new up and comers are all like, conservative, at least, conservative adjacent, to where they make fun of the left wokeness and shit like that. Wokeness has become an official joke at this point. Dude, they're in full panic mode. This could spell the actual end for the Democrat Party. truly a new era in the
Yeah,
United
I'd love
States.
to see it. But, according to Elon, it's the end of the Republican Party too, because laughably, he's going to start a third party due to represent what he apparently assumes is 80% of the populace is in the middle, which is fucking bullshit. Everybody holds fucking, thoughts and, principles, morals
Right.
leaning either direction for the most part. Like, as far as, it's a lifestyle, it's a mind frame. People like to think that your politics does it. Not everybody's a liberal, but they are. It's legitimately the way people think and fucking function that
Right.
separates us. It's not just a political ideology. You know what I mean? And I don't see any of that happening. I could see, like, the Democrat Party, for instance, like you're saying, it could be the end. It would be the end of the current rendition. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they would
Right.
have to reinvent themselves and come at the situation from a different aspect. You know what I mean?
I
This
mean,
place is always going to be a duopoly. We've been stuck in this trap for fucking a couple centuries. You know what I'm saying?
it really could just be a political flip, or just a polar flip taking place in the United States. I mean, the Democrats could fully, as we're seeing, they are fully embracing the core tenets of fucking being a neocon. They're trying to be the world police. They're trying to
Absolutely.
uh,
Warmongers.
right. They're trying to give more power to the government to hold over the people and stuff like that in the name of, I don't know, equality and all this and that type shit. They're trying to centralize government, they're trying to centralize power within the government. They could be the Republican Party of fucking the 1950s and shit like that. They could. I mean, obviously, not the whole fucking anti-communist Red Scare type stuff like that, but nonetheless the same type of stuff that the Democrats are basically trying to blame them, saying that they were doing, like, oh, they're being this, they're just trying to gain more authority, they're trying to fucking spy on you, they just want total control and shit like that. Like, that could be what they end up becoming. And meanwhile, the MAGA Republicans and stuff like that end up, as we see, they're more just like, fuck it, dude, like, I just want to be left the fuck alone, like, I want freedom, I want to make fun of fucking people without having to worry about getting canceled and stupid shit like that. Like, I just want to be a regular, we're starting to become the regular working Joes, the fucking,
Yeah.
the people, hanging around telling jokes around the water cooler and shit like that. That's what the MAGA wing of the Republican Party is basically embodied. So, I mean, it really could just be a complete polar flip taking place right now.
And you want to see that because the Red Scare wasn't a scare at all. It was a red predictive, because the
Right.
Democrat Party is the American Communist Party. And a poll flip on that would be great, because it'd be good to have a fucking second option to consider, rather than there's absolutely no way I'm voting for fucking communism. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see it. I mean,
Right.
because like I said, I'm not a Republican. Republicans are spineless fucking cucks, and I'm MAGA, dude. I've voted Republican the last 3 cycles because of Trump. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then I did vote Republican previously for that because of Ron Paul. You know what I mean? Other than that, I've been a registered fucking independent my entire adult life. Like,
Right. Well, I mean, the Republicans, they've really kind of factioned out as themselves as well. Of course, MAGA is the biggest, wing of the Republican Party, at least in terms of the voters and populists and stuff like that. But we've still got, neocons among the ranks as well. And then at the same time, we've still got, we've got, the libertarian wings, obviously the MAGA wing, that's the one that we go for. The libertarians have become absolutely fucking insufferable on everything,
yeah,
most of the time. And then of course the neocons, they're in over their head. They think it's fucking the United States of several decades ago, where we get to go around and just fucking just fucking, new base over there, new base over there, new base over there. And we're trying to move away from that now. So, I mean,
yeah.
ultimately
And the reason, go ahead.
we're breaking up as well too.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the reason, even for, being registered with, the independent label, it's not like Elon thinks, because people are in the middle. I know I'm an independent because the so-called right-wing party in this country, again, are just absolute cucks. And, they're not right-wing enough. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, they don't, I mean, they, like you said, they don't, put forth actual, bills and shit like that would, be right. They just try to slow down the left wing shit from happening when they're in power, and then when they're not, they just bend over.
Yeah. Yep. So in Arizona, seeing as we have closed primaries, as an independent, what do you get to vote in primaries at all?
You have to vote for your affiliated party in the state. You know what I mean? But the
Right.
vast majority of my voting time, except for these past 3 cycles, I was in Michigan, which is that's not the case. So
Okay.
you can vote for whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Open primaries, which is to me way better. I mean that's to me that's the whole point of being independent is that open mind and the ability to vote for who you think is the better candidate rather than for a fucking party label, man.
Right.
I mean, obviously in the federal elections, again, you could still vote for whoever you want, but as far as your state reps are concerned, like, because I don't consider myself a Republican, I can't vote for a Republican candidate, dude. Like, how does that work? Like, that makes no
Right.
sense.
Yep. And that's closed primaries, man. We keep it parties, man. We're all about wings here. We can't be having fucking wings just popping out everywhere, like.
Yeah, that's that, playing right into the whole duopoly thing. That's like,
Right.
it's reinforcing it.
Yep. That's Arizona, man.
And that's to make sure parties like the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, whatever it is, only gets that 2 and 3% threshold.
Right.
Because everybody has to change their fucking affiliation to change, to vote for someone that actually has a chance in hell of fucking winning.
Well, in the general election, you could vote for whoever you want, but just in terms
Right.
of primaries are
Right.
closed.
But obviously, in the state, that's how you get your people up there. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you're not necessarily going to fucking principally or ideally, you'd like to have this person, but in fact, that they're probably not going to win. But then you got to change your party affiliation to vote for someone that you have a chance of winning with. Like,
Well,
know what I mean?
If you're a libertarian and stuff like that, you could still vote for a libertarian in the primaries and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right, but exactly, like I mean, like I said, the Libertarian has a 2% chance of winning, dude. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
And it's just up to you whether you want to vote for them in the general or not.
Right.
Right. But yep, that's Arizona, man.
Now that they've
Speaking
been 86 by losing in the primary.
Right. Yeah, but shit, speaking of Arizona, man, what's the whole thing with Katie Hobbs? Of course, her big thing is fucking waving around that big old veto stamp. But apparently, she vetoed a bill that would have prevented Chinese national or the Chinese Communist Party from being able to buy up land here in Arizona.
Near military bases.
Oh, near military bases.
Yeah,
even
there's
better,
the caveat. Man. Right, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? The Luke Air Force Base, sure, you can purchase land right next to it, dude. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck, man? What is wrong with you? An absolute commie fucking transplant from California doing what Californians do. You know what I mean?
Yep. Fucking, I'd be just fine with them not being able to own land, period. No matter where the fuck it's adjacent to,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that to be able to run for office, regardless of, whether it be state or, federal fucking level, you should have to be, from those specific areas or at least live there for an extended period of time, not just show up somewhere like, oh, I'm the governor now. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Right. Don't worry. We gerrymandered just a little bit. So that way now I'm part of your district.
Right.
Yep. It's actually this whole area plus my house.
Yep, you're seeing the absolute Californication of Arizona. I don't know if you've seen Arizona now, or Scottsdale rather, is now the voted the fastest up and coming millionaire destination, right? Which means California is emptying out because they can sell their houses there for $4 or $5 million and come here and buy one for cash for $800,000.
All right, you can buy two.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Fucking. I mean, at least it's Scottsdale. Fuck those guys.
That's just the number one, of course. I mean, obviously, where both of us work on a halfway regular basis. I know me damn near every day of the week.
Right.
I'm in an area that's high-end homes. Yep, filled with Californians, Coloradoans, all the commies, man.
Right. They fucking totally believe
Washington,
in property.
Oregon.
They totally believe in private property if it's their private property, but your private property, I mean, we need to open that up. You should freaking share it with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'll keep some high fucking fences around mine.
Exactly. See, for reference, the 12-foot statue of Lenin in Seattle.
Right?
Is it Seattle or Portland? I can't remember. Either way, like I said, they're all commie shitholes. That whole half of the
Probably both.
country and East Coast can fall off the fucking earth for all I give two shits.
Right. But speaking of shitholes, so Donald Trump signed a proclamation on Wednesday banning travel from several countries to the United States. Let's see,
And the
the
vast
ban will
majority of
fully restrict
shitholes.
entry of nationals, right, from 12 shithole countries, including Afghanistan, Myanmar, also known as Burma, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, uh, Eritrea, Haiti,
Eritrea.
Iran, Libya, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Right.
Atreyu!
So one thing that right, one thing that the Democrats pointed out immediately is, what do you notice that these all have in common? They're all brown skinned peoples.
You're like, dude, the world population is 7% white. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The most people
Right.
are brown, man.
Right. They're all terrorist nations as well too. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah. Always.
But apparently,
Explosive
it was compiled based off of the attack, right? The Egyptian attack, the Egyptian illegal immigrant that took place in Boulder, Colorado, and so yeah, that sparked Donald Trump. Basically, it didn't necessarily spark him. I mean, I doubt Donald Trump's just like, gasp, we need to ban this country, this country, this country. Like, I'm pretty sure he's had the list before this took place.
Right.
You know, he's just like, all right, fuck you guys. You guys are all shut out now. And there we go. You know, but yeah, so 12 countries, travel ban. Sounds like they're all pretty fucking Durka Muhammad jihad countries. So I mean, ultimately, it's a win.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
They all
I mean,
they all
fuck the
get their due
anti-Semitic aspect.
processes.
I give two shits about being a
Right.
fucking Semite, right? Even this attack, it's been used, and you got commentators, whether they be liberal or so-called conservative on the inner zones, melting down over the shit. Like why is this concentrate on Israel's? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it's there's no other country that has the political fucking sway over mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no other country that's affecting a foreign policy as much as fucking Israel. There's not any other country that has as many dual citizen representatives in our fucking government. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, we could just keep going with that list. Like, that's why, buddy. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yep. Israel's, man. So of course, what's the latest with Israel, man? Do they have their ceasefire yet, or what's going on with that?
I mean, as far as I'm aware, they just continue to blow fucking kids up. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, what's the latest with Ben Shapiro, man? What's he bitching about today?
that his only reason for supporting America is due to their support for like Israel, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Dude.
Right. Fucking yeah, dude. Ben Shapiro is definitely one of those people, like
He should be fucking registered as a foreign agent. Absolutely.
Right. But I mean, like fucking those people like we see with the Democrats and stuff like that. Like, and in other news, Kilmar Obrego Garcia has been deported from the United States of America, and a judge has ordered him to be sent back. Fucking Ben Shapiro is that same way with like fucking and the chabutz over there. Yeah,
it's like Mexican girls, bro. They're fucking American until they say chorizo or quesadilla.
Right. Exactly, man. Yeah. Yep. Fucking it's hilarious. Fucking code talkers, man.
Right.
Right. Yeah, man. That's how they pronounce it over there. Is you give a shit, dude. You live over here, man. Thought you was American, bro.
You've only been to like tourist spots on vacation, man.
Right. You just go like kiss the wall every couple of years, man. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Trump's daughter converted to fucking, to the old Jewish Judaism, and his son-in-law is, and he's had a relationship. I mean, fuck, they named a street after the man in fucking Israel. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, he has recently told him fuck off, like,
Right.
fired his own staff for talking to him behind his back, shit like that. And speaking of which, we're speaking on Ukraine. Something I totally spaced to mention is that you have sitting senators and congressmen breaking the Logan Act and going over there right before the fucking Ukraine attacked Russia. Obviously Lindsey Graham and fucking Mike Pompeo and these cats. And man, they should be thrown in prison as well, man. Fucking Lindsey Graham's such a piece of shit warmonger lizard. And I'm absolutely disgusted and tired of that flip-flopping closet homosexual fucking trying to set us up for armed conflict and, risking American lives and obviously our treasure as he spends millions of dollars in Ukraine on entertainment fucking, expenses. I mean, it's disgusting. And every aspect of our government at this point, except for maybe a few that just came in with Trump, is completely fucking corrupt, dude. And,
Right.
owned, bought.
All right. So I was saying, man, fucking the shit that needs to take place, the swamp needs to be drained. The truth needs to come out. Fucking people need to be indicted. Fucking court papers need to be flying and shit.
Yeah, but what sucks, like I said, is there's a huge voting block in this country that needs to either fucking lose faculties or, mosey on, dude, because they're the ones that believe the media drivel, and the ones like I said, the largest anti-Trump block, and the ones that believe all this shit and support it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're the ones that keep voting these dinosaurs into office repeatedly. I mean, like I said, like Chuck Schumer, for instance, the prime example, the fucking rat-faced lizard king. Dude came into office. We were 550 billion in debt. Now we're 37 trillion, but he's telling you tax cuts are going to fucking destroy the fucking country. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, like, and the dude's been voted into office repeatedly since 1981. You know what I mean? The same people that voted for him then are still voting for him fucking now.
Right. That's fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
Yep. But like I say, I'm gotta stay with that hope, man. That it's a new dawn in America. Hopefully the leftist, the fucking communist Democrats are collapsing. Hopefully, again, people are starting to wake up to all of the bullshit that's taking place, how far we've drifted away from what America was intended to be and what we still try to sell ourselves as for some reason. I just hope, like I say, that we continue down that path. That's it's gonna be gradual. But nonetheless, as long as it ends up in the direction that we're trying to hope for, again, there's going to be some pain involved. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows and shit like that. But as long as we continue to head in the right direction, I still hold hope that it's a new era in the United States.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that golden age to come along with the Golden Dome, and that's
Right.
another thing in the big beautiful bill. The Golden Dome is funded, man.
Right. Yep. Fucking. Ours is the Golden Dome. Fucking Israel's got the Iron Dome, right?
Which we paid for. So
Right,
I mean,
right.
why shouldn't we have our own?
Right. Why shouldn't we have a gold one then?
Exactly.
The fucking platinum dome, motherfucker.
Yep.
Right. Diamond encrusted dome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So someone earlier I heard on a podcast, dude, joking around saying that the scheme of putting Trump on Mount Rushmore, and not only should we put him on there, but his face should be gold plated.
Right. I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah, I give a shit. Anyone talks, man.
Yep,
Well, he's
fucking
this
A.
or that. He's doing this. He's associated with these people, or the left. He's a fascist. You're a cultist. It's the best fucking president of my lifetime, man. I give two fucks. And if the man was unburdened
Right.
by the commie fucking judicial system, he would accomplish 10 times what he already has in just these fucking few months.
You're right. Yep. All right, man. Got anything else you want to throw in before we start to wrap up? Huh, that was weird. Rumble just crashed on me. But anyway, Karine Jean-Pierre has switched from the Democrat Party. She's become an independent now. So we'll see how that ends up turning out. I don't know if it looks like we lost Liberty Swine there, but nonetheless, we were wrapping up anyway. So thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like this video, share it out with your friends. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any spots that we may have missed, if you have any things that you might have seen differently than the way that we did, go ahead and let us know in the comment section. We appreciate all of you guys. See y'all next time. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, fuck off.